baking show.
I love that.
We're on now. Rachel, I tell you when we're on. We're on. Yes, sir.
Is it on?
I just turned it on. Yes, I just turned it on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not that I would.
No, but I told you I'd tell you, so I wanted to keep my word. Keep talking.
We get while we're chatting. Go ahead. You do that. Well.
Just whisper on ourselves.
Okay, Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Let's see if it's Shabbat. It must be page 61. Good to have everyone here in the tent. Ma'tovu ohalecha. How good are your tents? It's good to be here together in the tent. Ma'tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Elohim berov chastecha aneni be'emet yishecha. Let's continue with page 63, giving thanks for the soul that is renewed in us each morning. Page 63. And we'll start it together and then we'll do a little round with it. Elohai neshama Hashem natata v'tehorahi. Elohai neshama Hashem natata v'tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata li tehorahi. Elohai neshama Kozman shehaneshama v'kirbi moda'ani lefanecha Adonai Elohai v'Elohei Avotai Ribon kol hama'asim Adon kol haneshamaot Baruch atah Adonai המחזיר נשמות לבקרים מתים. The next two lines we sometimes skip, but they're real important. So let's do it today. What do they say? Hareini mekabel, or for a female we say mekabelet, alai. Behold, I declare that I take upon myself mitzvat haborei, the commandment of the Creator. And what is that commandment that I take upon myself? Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. We should love our neighbor as ourselves. What a nice thing to remind ourselves at the beginning of the service. We may differ, we may come from different places, we may be different ages, whatever, but we're here together and we remind ourselves we love our neighbor as ourselves. So, let us sing this, and some synagogues do a little thing where we actually greet our neighbor at this part of the service. So if you're so inclined and want to nod hello, shake a hand, you're welcome to. No forcing here, but here we go. It goes like this. Hareini mekabel alai. Or if we're female, Hareini mekabelet alai. So just try that. Hareini mekabel alai. There goes. Mitzvat haborei. Just that. Mitzvat haborei. So the whole thing so far together. Hareini mekabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Then it goes, Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Try it. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. One more time. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Re'acha kamocha. Re'acha kamocha. From the top. Hareini mekabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Re'acha kamocha. Hareini mekabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Re'acha kamocha. Hareini mekabel alai. Mitzvat haborei. Ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. Re'acha kamocha.
I have a question.
Sure.
What do we do if, like me, we can't carry a tune in a bucket?
You can still sing. So
Doesn't
what?
matter.
So what? Raise your voice. Sing it out.
Every time I try and sing, I'm afraid that lightning is ministering.
we don't judge people on the quality of their singing at all. And if it helps to express your spirit, go for it. I thought you were going to ask me a question I was asking myself. What if I'm trans? What do I say? Which do I say? Mikabel? Mikabela?
I was thinking that you just go with what your gender identity is. I just go with your gender identity.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, but some folks don't have a gender identity. Seriously, I'm not.
No, it's a
Oh,
good
if
question.
you're neuter. Oh, okay. If you're
Or just don't identify with one gender or another. Beyond gender. Mikablim. I don't know. It's tough.
Is there a neuter case? I was thinking German. Is there a neuter case in Hebrew?
No.
Huh.
Not
Like
for
French,
verbs.
that way.
Not for verbs. It's either Mikabel or Mikabela. There's no.
Interesting. I wonder, is there a word for everyone or all?
Yes, there's Kulanu Mikablim, but that would be, so that might be it. That might be it. But I wonder what they do in Israel, seriously. All right. Questions?
See if you're worth it off of this. Well, in France, they don't have a trans community, I think, like we do here. And I think part of it is shaped by language, because I think amongst people who speak a gendered language like that, in Germany, it's different, because in Germany there is a neuter case. But I do think to some degree what we think is possible is very much dictated by language.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
in some ways, but that's controversial.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some things to think about as we move along on page 65
Well,
with our morning blessings, which are interesting enough, that don't say anything about our sexual identity, by the way. They talk about our different parts of our identity, but they used to. Orthodoxy used to have a blessing, and still does, actually. I should correct what I just said. In an Orthodox prayer book, it will say, Shelo Asani Isha. Thank you, God, for not making me a woman. Serious. And the other movements in Judaism have changed that blessing. So it's no longer here, and instead of negative blessings that didn't make me a woman, didn't make me a slave, didn't make me whatever, it's who has made me in your image, in God's image, positive. Well, I love that blessing, because all of us are made in God's image, who have made me a Jew and who has made me a free person. And that is a change that's happened in most of the movements. Okay, so page 65. Feel free to chant together, respond with Amen, whatever works for us, and more important to think about the blessings in our lives, the positive blessings in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasechli bina lafrin ben yom uben layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rocha haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Malechim Nitzadei Gaber. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Oter Yisrael b'tif'ara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hanotein layahez kol ha'am. Same page, English side, counting up from the bottom, 6 lines. So let's read together. Strengthen our desire to do good deeds. Teach us humility that we may serve you. May we find grace, love, and compassion in your sight and in the sight of all who look upon us this day and every day. Grant us a full measure of loving kindness. Praised are you, Adonai, who bestows loving kindness upon God's people, Israel. So we start talking about loving our neighbor as ourselves and loving kindness. Good things to think about for the end of the day. Page 83. And we think about creation and the gift of creation of being alive. Let's sing together. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam Baruch Hu Baruch Oseh v'reishit Baruch Omer v'oseh Baruch Gozer u'mekayim Baruch mirachem al ha'aretz Baruch mirachem al ha'briot Baruch mishalem sachar tov lire'av Baruch chaylaad v'kayam lanetzach Baruch podeh u'matzio Baruch Shemo Baruch atah Adonai B'sham chasidam Yachid chei ha'olamim melech meshubach u'mefoar adei had Shemo hagadol Baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal Atishpacho. Page 85. On the Hebrew side, we count down 9 lines, then we're going to skip the 10th line and go to the 11th line. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, umelo. Yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, umelo. Yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, yehiram hayam, umelo. Continue on page 87. In the middle of the page, where we go to single lines, Torah Adonai T'mima, the Torah of God is perfect, reviving the spirit, enlightening us, gladdening our hearts, and opening our eyes. So the Torah opens us up to the world. It doesn't close us off, it opens us up. Torah Adonai T'mima, Torah Adonai T'mima, Torah Adonai T'mima, Meshiva Nafesh, Edut Adonai Nemana, Machkima Peti, Pikudei Adonai Sharim, Pikudei Adonai Sharim, Pikudei Adonai Yesharim, Mesamchei Lev, Mitzvat Adonai, Mara, Meirat Einayim, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Yirat Adonai Tehora, Omed Elad, Mishpetei Adonai, Emek, Tzaku Yachtav, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai 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 Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Yai Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai. The question of the day is, who is the person who wants to live a good life? The answer is on page 88, right in the middle. See, in English, which of you desires life? That's the question of the day. Mi ha'ish. And we'll sing it, and hopefully the words will enter our souls about turning away from evil and doing good, seeking peace, and not just, I'm nice, but veron fehu, and pursuing it actively. Mi ha'ish hechafetz chayim, ohev yamim, lirotov, netzor leshon chameira, usfatecha midaber mirma, sur merav aseitov, pakei shalom verotvehu. Mi ha'ish hechafetz chayim, ohev yamim, lirotov, netzor leshon chameira, usfatecha Mishaber Mirman Sur Meira Vaseto Hake Shalom Verotehu. Page 94. A song for Shabbat. It's good to acclaim Adonai, to affirm your love in the morning, and to your works make me glad. I sing with joy of your creation. That's what we're singing now. So, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot Adonai Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon Lehagid Baboker Chastecha Ve'emunatcha Baleilot Alei Asor Va'alei Navel Alei Higayon Bechinor Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot Adonai Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ki Simachtani Adonai B'Po'alecha B'Ma'aseh Yadecha Aranein Magadlu Ma'asecha Adonai Me'od Amkumach Shibotecha Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat Tov Lehodot Adonai Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Do you remember one of the songs that Felicia taught us? Maybe let's try to bring one of those into our... She taught us the song we just... The verse we just... The line we just sang. Magadlu Ma'asecha Ya Me'od Amku Machshabotecha. Magadlu, how great are your thoughts, O God? How deep... how great are your deeds, and how deep are your thoughts? And there was a sort of repeating line which was Hallelujah, 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 Magadlu Ma'asecha Ya Me'od Amku Machshabotecha. Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Magadlu Ma'asecha Ya Me'od Amku Machshabotecha. Hallelujah. Good. Very nice. Page 100. What tune did she use for this one? Do you remember?
As soon as I hear it, I'm like,
What?
as soon as I hear it, I'll remember. But I
Right,
can't.
right. I'm not sure I can remember. All right, so we've got a lot of nice tunes for this too. Hallelujah, 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 El Bekadsho, hallelujah, Birki Auzo, hallelujah, Vigurata, hallelujah, Kerov Gulo, hallelujah, 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 B'tei Shofar, hallelujah, B'nevel B'chinor, hallelujah, B'tov U'machor, hallelujah, B'minim B'fugav, hallelujah, 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 B'tzil Tzilei Shama, hallelujah, B'tzil Tzilei Truah, Kol Anshama, Tehaleyah, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
This is the melody that she sang.
Okay, good. Great. Thanks. Page 104. She also sang one to this, and I can't remember it. Anyone remember it? Okay. We'll have to get her to come back. Nishmat kol chai tivarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, who neither slumbers nor sleeps, you stir the sleeping, give voice to the speechless, free the fettered, support the falling, and raise those bowed down. You alone do we acknowledge. Last paragraph, together. From Egypt you redeemed us, from the house of bondage you delivered us, in famine you nourished us, in prosperity you sustained us. You rescued us from the sword, protected us from pestilence, and saved us from severe and lingering disease. To this day your compassion has sustained us, your kindness has not forsaken us. Never abandon us, Adonai, our God. Page 105. In the middle. Shochen Amarom V'kadosh Shemo. B'fi Sharim Titalal U'divrei tzadikim titbarach, u'b'lshon chasidim titramam, u'b'kerev kedoshim titkadash, u'v'makalot rebevot, amecha beit Yisrael. Shekein chovat kol hayitzurim lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elokei Avotenu lehodot lehalel leshabeach lefael leromen lehadel barech laleu kales al kol divrei shirot v'tishbechot, David ben Yishai, Avdecha Meshichecha, Yishtalach Shimcha, L'Malkeinu. Berachot v'hodaot me'ata ve'ad olam, Baruch atah Adonai, El melech gadol batishbacho, El hodaot adon niflaot, Habocher b'shirei zimra, Melech elchei ha'olamim. Page 108. El Adon al kol ha'ma'asim, Baruch u'morach b'fi kol nishama, Kolo v'tuvo u'malei olam, Da'at u'tfuna sov v'imoto, Ha'migai al chayot ha'kodesh, V'nedar b'chavod al ha'merkava, Zechut u'mishor lifnei chiso, Chesed v'rachamim lifnei kvodo, Tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu Yitzhara, B'da'at b'bina u'paskel, Koach u'gvura natan bahem, Li'ol moshlim b'keret te'el, B'leim zivum fikim noga, Na'ezivam b'chol ha'olam, Semechim b'tzeitam v'sasim b'voam, Osim b'ehem ha'retzon kolam, Pe'er v'chavod nodnim lishmo tzala, V'rina lezecher malchuto, Kara l'shemesh ha'yizrach ora'am, V'hikin surat havana, Shevach nodimo, Kol tzeva maharom, Tiferet u'gedula, Serafim ve'ofanim v'chayot ha'kodesh, Yalai, la 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 la, Yalai, la 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 la. Page 109, top paragraph together. To God, who completed the work of creation on the seventh day and ascended God's glorious throne, God robed the day of rest in beauty, calling Shabbat a delight. God ceased all God's labors on Shabbat. That is its distinction. The seventh day itself hymns praise to God. A song for Shabbat, it is good to acclaim Adonai. Titbarach Mosheinu al shevach masei yadecha v'al me'orei or she'asita yifaru chasela 110. Titbarach sureinu malkeinu v'goaleinu borei drobshim. 3.5 lines from the top. Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam giborim, v'kulam osim be'ema uvira b'tzon כולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה ובטהרה, בשירה וזמרה, ומברכים ומשבחים, ומפארים ומעריצים, ומקדישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להקדיש ליוצרה מנחת רוח בשפה רבה בנימה קדושה, כולם כחרונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך כל הארץ כבודו. מעופנים בחיות הקודש ברעש גדול מנסים ומצרפים לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ואל ברוך נעימות תיתנו למלך אל חי וקיים. סמירות יאמרו ותשבחו ישמיעו כי הוא לבדו פועל גבורות עושה חדשות, בעל מלחמות זורע צדקות, מצמיח ישועות, בורא רפואות, נורא תהילות אדון הנפלאות, המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד, מעשה בראשית כאמור לעושה אורים גדולים, כי לעולם חסדו אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. Let's do the whole page singing. 111. Ahava Araba Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gdola V'Teira Chamalta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avur Avoteinu Shebachu Becha Shebachu Becha Avinu Malkeinu V'tilamdem Chukei Chayim Kein Techlaneinu Tlamdeinu Avinu Ha'av Harachamam Hamrachem Rachem Aleinu V'tein b'libeinu lehavin lehavin u'haskil lishmoa lilmod u'lilameh lishmor v'lasot u'kayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha be'ahava v'ha'er einenu b'toratecha v'dahabek lebeinu b'mitzvotecha v'yachem levaveinu le'ahava u'yir'a et shemecha v'lo nebosh le'olam ba'ed v'lo nebosh le'olam ba'ed ki v'shem kodshecha hagadol v'hanora b'hatachnu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו תותחות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Continue on our own in the middle of 112. Adonai Elohechem Emes V'dor ba'ador hu kayim u'shmo kayam v'chisan achon u'machuto v'emunato la'ad kayam. Page 113, the last 4 lines. Emet she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu Malkeinu melech avoteinu avoteinu go'aleinu go'el avoteinu yotzreinu zur yeshuateinu hodenu matzileinu me'olam shemecha ein Elohim zu'atecha. So one of our members can say Kaddish. We're going to turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 184. Mourner's Kaddish, page 184, and then we'll come back to the Israel, Agala, Rizman, Karib, Hebrew, Amen. Yehi Shnei Rabba Mevarach, Le'olam, Lamei, Amaya. Yitbarach, Bishtarach, Bikar, Bitramam, Bitasei, Bithadar, Bithaler, Bithalal, Shmei Kudsha, Brichu, Le'ela, Mikol, Bikata, Bashirata, Tushvechata, Benechemata, Ta'amiran, Be'alman, Be'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. And let's continue now with the Micha Mocha, page 114, and then we'll go into the Amidah together. Take care. Tehillah le'Elyon, Baruch u'Borach, Moshe u'Bnei Yisrael, v'chanu shira b'simcha rabba, v'yamru chulam, Micha mocha b'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nahara tehilloto sefer, Shira chadasha shivchu gelim mishmcha svatayam, Yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu ve'amru, Adonai imloch ve'olam va'ed, Tzur Yisrael, Kuma ve'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdei chinumecha, Torba 120. I'm trying to remember some of the songs Felicia taught us or sang with us. This is an old one. I think this is the tune she used for Sim Shalom. We don't usually do it, but let's try. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen B'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Al Kol Yisrael Amecha, B'Cheinu Avinu Kulanu Ke'echad, V'Or Panecha, Ki V'Or Panecha Natata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen B'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Al Kol Yisrael Amecha, Torat Chaim V'Ahavat Chesed V'Ahavat Chesed, Tzedaka Uvracha V'Rachamim V'Chaim V'Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen B'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu, V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Al Kol Yisrael Amecha, V'tov B'einecha Levarech Et Amecha Yisrael, B'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל, עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, המבורך את עמו ישראל, בשלום. Page 138. יתקרא ויתקרא שמי רבם, יאמר דברכם תבם לחמך ותבחי כל ימי כל נבחי כל בישראל, בעגל בזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבם מבורך, לעולם לא נעלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר וידורם ויעשה, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה, ברכו לעילה מכל בחרתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמרו, אמן. תקבל צאתנו ואותנו כל ישראל, קרמה והודי ושמיה ואמרו, אמן. יהי שלום הרב משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו, אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Let's continue with a Torah service on page 139. And since Cindy just walked in, how would you like to lead it?
All right.
Are you up for it?
Yeah.
Oh, if you want me to, yeah. If you want me to.
It's a tradition. Whoever walks in the door right at the Torah service, no, that's not it. I just made that up. But
Behind
you know, Please rise.
Yeah. Ein kmocha b'olim Adonai v'ein kamosecha v'lutecha malchut kol ha'amim u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch v'yaveh Adonai os yavod yitein Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom Amin Eitiv v'mitzona et Zion Tibnei Omot Yerushalayim Tibnei Omot Yerushalayim Ki lecha levad patachnu melech elad v'nisa Vayehi ben Zoharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yavusu Orecha, V'yanusu V'samecha, Mipanecha, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah, U'Adonai Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, V'yamo Yisrael B'kedushato. Be'ona rachetz Ve'lishmei kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana emar tushbechan Be'ona rachetz Be'ona rachetz Ve'lishmei kadisha Kadisha Yakira Ana emar tushbechan Yehei Rabam Kadama Detivtah libi liorata V'tashlim mishalim delibi Belibat Chol Amach Yisrael L'tal L'chaim V'lishma Amen.
Page 141.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh
468, starting on verse 18. And last week, the Torah portion was the Ten Commandments, sort of God on high speaking to us. And now these are sort of more follow-up to that, but it's got a lot of not just up high to us, but how we should deal with one another in the community. So take a look at it pretty carefully. Don't go away, go over here.
She's just adjusting.
Okay.
Sorry.
Come up.
She is. She's adjusting herself.
Oh, adjust. Okay. Yes, we all have to
It's a
adjust.
girl thing.
The other thing is, try to pay attention to the way these commandments are set in this selection. Some things follow the same form, some things are in a slightly different form. We'll talk later about what that is. But we'll look at that and see the different style of them.
Tamod Kohen, Shena Bat Yitzchak v'Kedela HaKohen.
Baruch Shantan Torah Yemo Yisrael B'Kedushato B'Teman V'Kimbenu Hechem Chaim Kuchen Hayom.
It's adjusting to what page are we on?
468.
Baruch Hu Adonai Baruch.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'omim v'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay. Kol shochev im behema mot yumad zoveach le'Elohim yacharam bilti l'Adonai levado v'ger lo toneh v'lo tilchatzenu ki gerim heitem ve'eretz Mitzrayim.
That's the fastest. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Tamod Levi, Nitzabat Menachem V'Batya HaLevi, Ubatya, sorry.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Kol almana v'yatom lo te'anun im ane te'aneh oto ki imtza'o kitzak elai shama eshma tza'akato v'chara api v'haragti etchem b'charev v'hayu neshechem almanot Uvenechem Yetomim.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Yamod Shlishi, Bevel ben Bero ve'ikra.
Who is the Roy of the Rock? Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Moed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher v'chabon mikol ha'amim v'nosalonu es torah Baruch Atah Adonai v'seinu Torah.
Amen. Im kesef taveh et ami et ha'ani imach lo tiyeh lo kinoshe lo tisimun alav neshech im chavol tachbol tzalmat ve'echa ad bo hashemesh tishivenu lo ki hi kesuto levada hi simato le'oro b'mei yishkav v'haya ki yitzak elai v'shamati ki chanun ani.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nosalonu Torah emes v'chayei olam v'tabas ocheinu Baruch Atah Adonai v'keres Torah.
Amen.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yasher Koach.
Talmud Revi'i, Liba Elka Bat Basha V'Chaim Alta.
What page, Bob?
Yasher Koach.
Page 470.
And it's really bad laryngitis, so you know what that's like.
Where's the
Baruch et Adonai HaBarach. Baruch Adonai HaBarach Elam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noteinu Torah.
Amen. Elohim lo tekalel v'nasi b'amcha lo ta'or v'le'atcha v'dim'acha lo te'acher b'chor banecha titen li ke'en ta'aseh l'shorcha l'tzoncha shivat yamin yihye im imo bayom hashmini titnu li v'anshe kodesh tiyu li ubasar basader trefa lo tochelu lakelev tashlichun oto.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam natav v'zochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noteinu Torah.
Amen.
I'm not sick anymore, but I got left with this.
Talmud Chamishi, Adaya Bat. You know your parents' name?
Ruvain and Rachel.
Ruvain and Rachel. Ruvain and Rachel. Yes.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai HaBarach. ונתן לנו את תורתו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Lo tisa shem hashav al teshet yadcha im rasha liot ed chamas. Lo tia acharei rabim leraot velo te'aneh arid linto arov lintot acharei rabim lehatot v'dar lo tedar b'heribo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam notan bo b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Everyone's sneezing at coffee. I'm going to do this.
No shaking the
Coffee elbows.
There's some pretty amazing things coming up here, like this next verse 4 and 5, 471. You don't find that in every tradition.
It's coming out, yeah.
Yamot Shishi Nechel Ben Noach Berachaleh.
Who is Adonai HaBarach? Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'orcha b'orcha mikol ha'amim v'nosan lanu es toraso. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Ki tifka shor oivecha ocham aroto hashev tishivenu lo ki tir'eh chamor sonacha rovetz tachat masa'o v'chadalta me'azot azot azot imo lo tateh mishpat evyoncha beheribo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam notan b'sukeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
That's too healthy.
Bonnie, what page?
472.
9-7, verse 7.
Michael, will you cover for Bonnie? Talmud Shvi'i Bela Bat Golda Behershon.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Midbar sheker tirchak v'naki b'tzadik al taharog Ki lo atzdik rasha v'shochad lo tikach Ki ha-shochad ya'aver pichim v'salef divrei tzadikim V'ger lo tilchatz ve'atem Yidatem et nefesh hager Ki gerim heitem be'eretz Mitzrayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
And actually, before Chatzi Kaddish, let's do a prayer for healing. Misheberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivaper v'yivarech et
Sarah View,
Arlene Bernstein,
Russia Babalka,
Harry Wolf,
Shirley Henderson, Bobby Levy,
Robert Carlin, Deb Austin, Suzanne Sharowski.
וכל החולים בקהילה הקדושה הזאת, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחזיקם ולרפאותם וישלח להם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף בתוך שאר חולי ישראל שבתים מלזעוק ורפואה קרובה לבוא, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב ונאמר אמן. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah bring blessing and healing to all those who are ill within our congregational family. May they be blessed with a full and complete healing, a healing of spirit and a healing of body, together with all those who are ill among the Jewish people and among the world. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all those who are ill be surrounded by the love of their friends, their loving companions, their families, and their community. And let us say, Amen. Yeah, that's it.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah V'yal na'dirach harutei v'yamlich malchutei V'chayechon yolecha Uvayekorech Yisrael Ba'ala Ubizman Parim Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitronam v'yitnaseh v'yitahadar v'yitaleh v'yitalau Shemei Kedusha B'rechu Leila min kol becharta v'shirata Tor shechata v'nechemata Tamiran yama v'ru'ayim.
Yes. And we're now on page 523 because it's a special Maftir portion. This is where we're supposed to take the half shekel and bring it to the tabernacle. Everyone's supposed to do that. And we're supposed to be thinking about that before Purim and before the holidays to support the Shul.
I go to that.
Yeah, it's one of the special Shabbat Torah.
Talmud Maftir Rachel Bat Abraham Basara. Yitzchak ben Abraham Basara, Talmud Delilah, Miriam bat Tilly.
Let's stand as the Torah is lifted and tied. Hallelujah. that right from you. And we turn to page 150 and remain standing because this is a Shabbat Mevarchim Chodesh. This is a Shabbat where we announce an upcoming month, and it ain't just no ordinary month we're announcing. It's one that has to do with joy and special gladness. Page 150. Let's start reading together in the English. May it be your will, Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors, to reawaken in us joy and blessing in the month ahead. Grant us a long life, a peaceful life with goodness and blessing, sustenance and physical vitality, a life of reverence and piety, a life free from shame and reproach, a life of abundance and honor, a reverent life guided by the love of Torah, a life in which our worthy aspirations will be fulfilled. Amen. חברים כל ישראל ונאמר אמן. ראש חודש אדר יהיה ביום חמישי וביום שישי הבאים עלינו ועל כל ישראל לטובה. The new month of Adar will begin on Thursday and Friday. May it hold blessing for us and all the people of Israel. And we know Misha Nichnas Adar, when Adar comes in, Marbim B'Simcha. Our joy increases. And anyone who's been working on our play knows that that's going to happen. Yechad Sheinu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Beit Yisrael L'chaim U'Shalom Amen L'sason U'Simcha Amen Yeshua U'Nechama V'Nomar Amen. And Bonnie will lead us in the returning of the Torah to the Ark. Page 151. Don't open it yet because you got Oshrei first. Oh, Chris. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I dismissed you.
Can you do Oshrei by yourself?
Sure. Page 151. We can be seated, and Chris is going to lead us in our call and response for the beginning of Oshrei. Oshrei, Oshrei, Yoshvei, Yoshvei, B'Tezah, Oh yeah, hallelujah, Oh yeah, hallelujah, Oshrei, Oshrei, Yoshvei, Let's stand as we open the Ark and prepare to return the Torah to the Ark.
Sorry, I forgot my stage directions. Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai.
Let's take a look at the Torah portion. We got to go back to where we were on page 468. And people made some comments about how short the Aliyah was. So let's look at that first short Aliyah, 468 verses 18 through 20. And how would you, first, would someone read it? Just the English, the 3 verses?
468?
468.
Whoever lies with a beast shall be put to death. Whoever sacrifices to a god other than the Lord shall alone shall be proscribed.
Actually, stop there if you would, please. How would you describe those 2 commandments? Did we give any reason for them? Any background? Any deep understanding of these?
It has to have been going on, or they wouldn't be saying don't do it.
Right. But there's no big, because back in the day, this is just straight out commandment. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't say why you shouldn't lie with an animal. It just says don't do it. You're going to die. It doesn't say don't sacrifice to other gods because that's not right. And we shouldn't do it in only certain circumstances. No. Straight out, right? We can agree that these are 2 pretty much, but no reasons are given for them. You just do it. And shut up about that, right?
Many of the Ten Commandments are like that.
Yes, many things are like that, for sure. Totally. I just want to point out that in this section, a lot of the stuff is like that. But there are some exceptions. What could,
I'm not actually sure what proscribe means.
Yeah.
I was just reading down below.
Kelly goes like this, X, don't do it.
I was reading down below in the notes, the Hebrew verb harom literally means shall be devoted to God. Here it implies total annihilation and includes the destruction of the person and his or her property. Wow, don't do it.
Don't give me any ifs, ands, or buts, don't argue, don't say why, don't whatever, don't do it. Alright? Clear.
I don't understand this sentence at all.
Which one?
Zoveach Elohim, denying him.
Whoever Zoveach makes a sacrifice will be cut off from the people.
But why don't they used to go up to the temple and...
This is not Elohim. This is to some other gods. To other gods. You're right. That's why it's confusing these things. Here it's saying Elohim Achenim. Elohim Achenim. It doesn't, but it's implied. It's implied. Because Bilti Adonai Levado. So if you have to read the whole sentence. Whoever is to gods except for Adonai.
You have to go to the yeshiva to learn this.
Okay. But it doesn't give reasons. It just says don't sacrifice to other gods, only Adonai. Alright. Okay. So now, would someone read the next sentence? Cindy, you were on a roll. Why don't you do one more?
Okay. You shall not wrong a stranger or oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Okay. Ma nishtana, what is different from this commandment than the first 2?
There's an explanation.
Because here he's telling you because you've been in Egypt and there is nothing. You just said don't do it.
Right. We could have put the period after V'ger lo tomer v'lo tilchatzenu. Don't oppress a stranger or oppress him. Period. We would have expected that if we were following all the other things, we would have expected that. Do we have that? No, we don't. Instead, we have a reason given. And what is the reason?
Because you've been in Egypt.
Okay. So, let's just note that for now. We'll come back, hopefully, in the Hashem. But, unless I knock this thing over.
I'm sorry. No, that's right.
You got it. No, I was afraid I knocked it. Okay.
Can I just,
Yes.
I was gonna say,
it seems to me, and I could be wrong, that it's not only kind of reminding us of our experience, but implicit is this, empathize.
Oh, yes. Yes. Implicit is empathize. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, adding that for you who are strangers in the land of Egypt, it's, you remember, and you hear that, and you know that, oh yeah, in your body you actually feel it. If you have to go through remembering, that puts it in your mind,
Yeah.
which is your body, and that experience lives in memory so that it has a lot more meaning.
It's more personal and it's really
Yeah.
in you. Yes.
It does have to go to the Seder in Pesach.
That's right. This is, which is central to Jewish.
That's right.
Okay, so let's go to, let's go to chapter 23, verse, page 470. Page 470, the beginning of chapter 23. Would someone read from there on, till verse 9, through verse 9?
You must not carry false rumors. You shall not join hands with the guilty to act as a malicious witness. You shall neither side with the mighty to do wrong. You shall not give perverse testimony in a dispute, so as to pervert it in favor of the mighty. Nor shall you show deference to a poor man in his dispute. When you encounter your enemy's ox or ass wandering, you must take it back to him or her. When you see the ass of your enemy lying under its burden and would refrain from raising it, you must nevertheless raise it with him. You shall not subvert the rights of your needy in your disputes. Keep far from a false charge. Do not bring death on those who are innocent and in the right. For I will not acquit the wrongdoer. Do not take bribes, for bribes blind the clear-sighted and upset the pleas of those who are in the right. You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the feelings of the stranger, having yourselves been strangers in the land of Egypt.
Great, thank you.
Repeat it again.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, you're ahead of me. Correct. Just at the beginning, that what we read don't oppress the stranger, because you were strangers and you know the heart of the stranger. And we have it here again. Do you happen to know which commandment in the Torah appears more than any other commandment in the Torah?
This one, this?
That was the leading question, and you got it. Yes. According to the Talmud, this commandment occurs 36 times in the Torah.
Wow.
No other commandment. Don't have other gods before me, keep Shabbos, keep kosher, keep whatever. No other commandment is repeated so many times in the Torah as this one.
It must have been a big problem. It still is.
Yeah, no kidding.
You shall not oppress a stranger. And this is the only one of all these. Most of them we saw don't give any reasons. Don't lie with an animal. Gamarno, I don't have to tell you why. Don't do this, don't do that. This one gives a reason. And it's not a reason. There are some other ones that are reasoning. Gives a reason, like verse 7. Keep far from a false charge. Do not bring what? Do not bring death on those who are innocent and in the right, for I will not acquit the wrongdoer. God is saying, don't do this because I'm telling you not to do it. But there is a reason given at least. They could have put the period earlier. Here, the reason that's given is intensely personal to us. It's not God saying, because I'm going to whack you. It's saying, remember your own experience. Remember your own experience. The last time, and both of these both the one we read at the beginning of the Torah portion here says, V'ger lo tilchatz, to push, to oppress. And before these two times, the last time the word tilchatz appeared, we actually can look at it quickly. It's in chapter 3, verse 9 of Shemot, of Exodus. Let me see if I can find it for you in the page. Right, thank you. And there it is again. V'ata hinei tza'akat b'nei Yisrael ba'a elai v'gam ra'iti et halachatz asher Mitzrayim lochatzim otam. In case we didn't know the word once, it's there twice. So this is the first time since then in the Torah, this is the next time in this chapter that we heard the word about oppressing others, whereas here, the previous time we heard it, it was the cry of the Israelites, reach me. And I've seen how the Egyptians oppressed them. So the first time was talking about how we were oppressed, and we felt it. And God felt it because we felt it. And so this is a direct reference to that, and saying, you remember how you felt. Empathy, your point. You remember how you felt. Don't just do this because I'm commanding it. Don't just do it because it's right. Do it because there's something that ought to be in your heart. You knew how it felt to be on the receiving end of oppression. And therefore, it's very important for you not to oppress the stranger. And the words are really so powerful. V'atem yedatem et nefesh hager. You know the soul of the stranger. Yedatem doesn't mean just know it intellectually. Actually, the word yodea means also to have intimate connection with something. It means to have intercourse, even in Hebrew. And Adam knew Eve. It means he had intercourse with it. You, in your being, experience what it is to be a stranger. And the scorn and the oppression that came with that. Don't do it, because you should know it in your heart. Okay, so, given that this commandment happens more than any other commandment in the Torah, and given that it's given in a different way, it's very much saying, do this from your experience, not because I'm commanding it, not because whatever. Why? Why is such a big deal made out of this one, of all the commandments? There are a lot of important commandments. What's the big deal?
I think I think everybody has a need to belong somewhere or belong to something. I think everybody has that need. And if you take it to this other theory I've always heard, kids join gangs because they have a sense to want to belong to something. They want to be part of something. I think we all have a need to be part of and belong somewhere, to something. Whether it's your community or your family, somehow you want to have that. That need needs to be fulfilled. And so, on that level, why I say gangs and stuff is because that's the need that they're fulfilling, to belong to something. And, because you always wonder, why do they do that? And I always, I think about that, and that is a reason. They have to belong to something, and they have a need. They don't feel like they belong anywhere. And some people don't feel that they belong anywhere, so they need to belong somewhere. And I know for me, I had that feeling at a time. I didn't feel I belonged anywhere. And where you search to find it, and you search where you belong, in seeking that, I found I've always had this. It was here waiting for me. I sought it, and I belong. I know I belong, and it makes me fulfilled. So I don't know.
That's my
so the
take on
importance
it.
of belonging, letting someone else belong. Yeah.
I think the sin is compounded when the strangers are members of society at work, in college, or in the army even, and then we pick them out as strangers, say, you are a stranger, we're going to throw you out.
Other thoughts about why this one of all the others is so prominent in the Torah, not just here, throughout? Well, I want to share with you something. There's a guy I really like reading his stuff. It's elegant. Jonathan Sacks. He's the former chief rabbi of England. He's an Orthodox rabbi, but he really speaks, I think, to rabbis across the denominations. And I think he has a very interesting take on why.
Is this the one the Federation sent?
It's got part of that, but part of his own stuff. I may have enough for everyone. Let me make sure we got enough. I think I have enough for everyone. No, you got it. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. We're good for it. Would someone start and read out loud the first paragraph or two?
At the top.
Yeah.
If there is one commandment above all others that speaks of the power and significance of empathy, it is the line in this week's Parsha. You shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger. You were strangers in the land of Egypt. Exodus 23:9.
Someone else want to take a paragraph and spread it around?
Why this commandment? The need for empathy surely extends way beyond strangers. It applies to marriage, partners, parents and children, neighbors, colleagues at work, and so on. Empathy is essential to human interaction generally. Why then invoke it specifically about strangers?
That's the question. I'm echoing this question, basically. Someone else?
The answer is that empathy is strongest in groups, where people identify with each other, family, friends, clubs, gangs, religions, or races. The corollary to this is that the stranger, the stronger the bond within the group, the sharper the suspicion and fear of those outside the group. It is easy to love your neighbor as yourself. It is very hard indeed to love or feel empathy for a stranger. As primatologist Frans de Waal put it, we've evolved to hate our enemies, to ignore people we barely know, and to distrust anybody who doesn't look like us. Even if we are largely cooperative within our communities, we become almost a different animal in our treatment of strangers.
Okay, so the point he's making here is, it's easy to love our people in our game, in our community, the people we know. Love your neighbor as yourself. We don't need to say, we need to say it, but maybe you don't have to say it 36 times. But to love the stranger, love the person who makes us feel uncomfortable, to love the person who we don't understand, who we don't feel a tie to, or to not make them a stranger, that's more difficult. Someone want to read, who hasn't read, who wants to read this next paragraph? Please.
Fear of the one not like us is capable of disabling the empathy response. That is why this specific command is so life-changing. Not only does it tell us to empathize with the stranger because you know what it feels like to be in his or her place, it even hints that this was part of the purpose of the Israelites' exile in Egypt in the first place. It is as if God had said, your sufferings have taught you something of immense importance. You have been oppressed, therefore come to the rescue of the oppressed, whoever they are. You have suffered, therefore you shall become the people who are there to offer help when others are suffering.
Okay. So, he writes, I wish I could write like this guy. Right. This is what he's saying, that you know, I've always wondered, why do we have to sit in slavery for so long? He's giving even a reason for that. that maybe to help us understand the stranger, the people who are different, the people we don't identify with, and to have that sort of always held in front of us is something very powerful and important. And I want to switch from this. We could spend all day on this. I'm going to switch from this for a second to one other thing. Those who get the Daily Hampshire Gazette, many of us know Henny Lewin. She's a Holocaust survivor. She owes her life to the fact that she was smuggled out in a suitcase, sedated, and her parents handed her over to a non-Jewish couple who took care of her, and she made it through the war. And even as they were walking out with the suitcase, there was a Nazi guard, a Lithuanian guard who was about to accost the people with a suitcase, and some other soldiers came and asked the Lithuanian guard directions somewhere. So for a second, and they were also on the Nazi side, so he went and helped the guards, and so the people with the suitcase walked through. He could have opened that suitcase and killed her. I mean, that's what she owes her life to. So she spoke to a group of kids in Granby. And one could imagine that a Holocaust survivor, or any Holocaust survivor, could be a bitter person. I would understand it. I would understand it. What Holocaust... And it turns out that many Holocaust survivors, though, are not bitter people. Many of them, from Elie Wiesel and other people, don't say... They more say, we have to care about others. We have to care about others. And what, in this article about Henny, she was asked, so what's your message? And here's one of the things she said. The people I am most angry with are the, who do you think? I would have thought the perpetrators, the people who did this to us. That's not what she said. The people she is most angry with are the bystanders.
Yeah, people who silent acceptance.
The people who didn't get involved to stop the evil. She says this to junior high school kids. Don't be a bystander. Be a person that does good. Junior high, especially where bullying takes place, where strangers, people who are different, kids who are different, get bullied. She's saying, not only don't be a bully, don't let it happen. Don't let the stranger be picked on. Don't let the stranger be treated without empathy. Remember how we suffered. Remember when there were knocks on our door, or our parents' door, our grandparents' door, and we were carried away. Don't let that happen. That's the message. I don't want to take it further than this, but I do think it's a powerful message to be considered.
Well, I'm a survivor, and I personally am a survivor. Age is my survival, and I owe my good part of my life to perfect strangers. My next door neighbor, who came as an act of God, never married a woman in her 60s. Was a flight attendant and everything else. She cannot do enough for me. She brings me food every day, takes my mail for me, will do anything I ask her, and more. That's an act of God.
That's it.
And I can appreciate.
And she doesn't see you as a stranger. She sees you as another human being.
My mother, my sister. She's only 60 years old.
Yeah.
And yet she has that in her heart. She lives by herself. I live by myself. And I'm amazed yesterday she brought me my lunch.
And thank you so much for sharing that. Any questions? How can we build?
Because I'm a survivor.
I have no other friends. That's right. And how can we build that bond of empathy between?
As you age,
one to another?
you'll get it. Really, you will. Get to your 80s and 90s, you'll appreciate it. Well, people of all colors.
Pizza had a comment.
I just thought maybe we should send this to Trump.
I'm trying to stay away from the political.
Avoiding
I'm trying to deal with the moral issue and staying away from the.
No, the more
Listen, in Israel now it's the same thing. They are going to throw out from the country 6,000, whatever, into a country that they know that once they will get it, they will get murdered.
Yeah. No, I gotta say, I'll just talk personally in terms of something I think it's a good question, Lisa. It's a good question. I just want to say something I did personally, not with the synagogue, but just I did on my own. I read in the local paper that there was a guy who was born in Iraq, who lived in this country for 50 years. He was brought here when he was like 10 years old. He lived in the country for 50 years. He's about to. He had a girlfriend he met in America. They didn't marry because their families didn't like it. Eventually, now they're getting married and all this kind of stuff. He goes and registers regularly with immigration. I don't know anything about this guy other than what I read in the paper. One day he goes to register with immigration, and right there he is arrested and thrown in jail, and he was in jail for months. And I don't want to talk about national politics or whatever. I'm not trying to go there.
No,
but I just my heart went out to this stranger in our midst. So I read that there was a petition to ask that this guy be no criminal record, no nothing, and was like 10 years old. So it's not like when he got to this country. So actually, I went and I got the petition. I did it thinking honestly, and I'm just talking about me. I don't want to lay my values on other people, but I did it thinking about the Holocaust. That if people could be rounded up that way, it just didn't feel right. So each of us needs to do what we feel is right in our heart. I'm not about to whatever, but I do think but also Henny's words echo to me about not being a bystander. I felt I had to do something.
But, living in this land of milk and honey, insulated by oceans, and, I won't get into national politics either, but, what happened in Germany and throughout Europe was partly because people said, well, let's be passive. And there's a passivity that's coming across in what's being discussed today that doesn't address the question of evil and the evil of man. And if you just jump to page 475, you have on number 23, you have God basically telling you, I won't read all the way through, I'll just get to the point where it says, you shall not bow down to their gods and worship or follow their practices, but shall tear them down and smash their pillars to bits. And that's not saying to the strangers, the Amorites and the Hittites and the Canaanites. This is a very complicated thing, and I think especially living in Western Massachusetts, and especially among the more liberal groups and the clergy, and this is not a criticism of you, there is this sort of sense of we're all living in the land of milk and honey and there's no dangers out there. Yes, there are people like Donald Trump, but there are people like Saddam Hussein, and there are people who are fundamentally evil. And not to get into the whole debate about immigration, but as someone I was listening to the other day said, well, so let's have amnesty. Let's let DACA pass, and when the next round comes, because this happened in 1986 with Ronald Reagan, and a much smaller group of illegal immigrants that are in the country now, when do you stop? At 100 million? Do you stop at 200 million? When does overpopulation and the lack of water and environmental degradation become such a serious problem?
These are all good questions.
They are good questions, and not for discussion, and I'm sorry to do this, but I just...
I'm thanking you for raising what you're raising.
Yeah, there's just... what really troubles me is there's not an honest debate from either side. and greed and power and evil exist in this world, and they're much more common than I think we all want to admit.
No, and so which is why I'm trying to. I mean, obviously I have my own feelings, but I'm trying to just raise the general value questions and whatever. And good folks can disagree about what policy or whatever flows from that. And I appreciate your saying that. Hey, Kelly, and then
You can't separate.
Forget about Sarnaev brothers and Marathon, Boston Marathon. They live in Massachusetts, and it happened in Massachusetts a few years ago. But Boston Marathon. So how can we forget Sarnaev brothers and their victims? What about them?
yeah.
How do you feel about those victims?
You know, it's terrible for sure. It's not, she's talking about the Boston Marathon. And, you know, there are people like that who do things like that.
How many Sarnaevs do we need to understand something about good friends? That's what it says. We love our neighbors because we can have a fence.
Yeah, but see, it goes back. It's interesting that this is the thing that's in the Torah 36 times. It's like you have to have it drilled into you. But we don't, you know, who studies Torah today? Who lives by?
They also, Kelly, I'd say to you, there's a difference between a stranger and an enemy. I mean, if it says also in the Torah, which I totally hold with, if someone comes to kill you, don't say, okay, right here. And say, get up earlier and kill them first. If someone's an enemy, I don't. But if someone,
No.
that's a good question.
As refugees, speaking Russian, they are from Chechnya.
Yeah.
And they are welcomed here, they are loved and supported and everything. So what now?
It's very hard to know. These are good questions. That's why I don't claim to be a font of knowing perfectly what to do. I'm not. But they're good questions. But I'm just talking about what I think the Torah is trying to teach us, not about every person who moves to this country or whatever, but a general thing of try to remember. And
That's the trouble.
I know. I remember my father. Right, my dad grew up in Poland. He couldn't even get to this country first. He had to go to Argentina before he got to this country. He had to wait a year and a half till he could get into this country. And every time we lived in Vermont, and we had some relatives in Canada, and every time we went to Canada, and I was a kid still, I could feel some anxiety in my dad. It was like, could he get back into the country? He spoke with an accent. He didn't have he had a Polish passport. Every time, can I get back into this country? He didn't even say it. I knew it, and we didn't even talk about it in our family. So there are some people who are in this country who shouldn't be in this country. I totally agree with you. Totally. But if I think of my own family history and all of us, almost everyone in this room can go back 2 generations or 1 generation, I would guess, almost everyone here, and there's been an immigrant here. So I'm just saying, I'm just putting all that out there to be thought about. Yes.
My grandmother tackled that by refusing to leave. When she also had relatives in Mexico and in Canada, and she was in regular touch with them even without the internet. But she would not leave, and she would tell them to come here. You want to see me? Come here. I'm not. My grandfather, on the other hand, he was a citizen, and I never understood why she did not become a citizen. I think it was because she had trouble reading English, and but having taught citizenship to the whatever the foreign born, or however they used to call it in New York City, I know that she could have become a citizen, but for whatever reason she wouldn't do it, and her answer to it was that she just would not leave. And my grandfather, on the other hand, was illegal. He was 17 years old. The first amnesty that was declared when he got here, he took, and he became a citizen within a couple of years of that.
What year was that, Jim?
can share some of those stories over lunch too, family stories. Okay, sorry to stop now, but I think it's a good discussion, and I think it's things to think about. Just like we have to have empathy for the stranger, it's teaching us, I'm glad that we're listening to each other. We don't all come from the same place. Here in our congregation, we have different opinions and different thoughts, and I'm glad we're listening to one another. That's respectfully. That's very important too, I think. That's part of the same attitude that the Torah is trying to give respect for our. Okay, so let's continue on page 182. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadronenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Kemalkeinu, Mich Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Kemalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shetiru, Avotenu, Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teikenu l'yoseh reishit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gol aleinu k'chol ha'olam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishachabim u'motim, l'ifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshe v'karol b'shamayim imam, u'shvina tuzo, v'gafei meromim, u'Eloheinu Elo, emet malkeinu efesulato, kachatu b'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashemota ele b'hagah, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, v'ashamayim v'imah, v'yaharetz v'yitah, Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Ne'echad, Eloya Adonai, le'melech al kol ha'aretz, V'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo This week we recall Harris Cohen, Etta Solomon, Edwin Oss, Ray Sheps, and Beatrice Kahan. Mourner's Kaddish, page 184. Yishkara v'yizkadash shemei rabba, v'amad yibrach erutei, yablik malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, Yisrael, Ha'agala V'Zman Karib V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba V'Barach V'Olam Habei Hamaya. Yisbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yitpa'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yita'ar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalav Shemei Kudsha Richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechanata Ta'amiran Be'alma V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'Imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Joan, announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's watching at home. We are happy that you're able to join us. And boy, do I have announcements. Let's just call it a dar. Anyway, tomorrow, we start with tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9:30, the book club will be here for their regular meeting. I don't know the name of the book, but does anyone know?
What's next week? And no one will read it from today to tomorrow.
Well, okay. I mean, just for general information, somebody might read it who's not part of the club. Okay. Wednesday evening at 7:30 is our next board meeting. Wednesday at 7:30. Friday, this is all this week. Friday this week at 9 o'clock. I guess the Challah Club has a new name now. It's Challah Chavurah. So Challah Chavurah will be meeting at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. And if Cindy doesn't know that you're coming, please let her know so that she'll have enough flour. We need flour for Challah, so let her know. On Shabbat, a week from today, on the 17th, Shabbat, there will be a chorus after the Kiddush. So if you're interested in singing, stay around next week. It's Purim songs, I assume. On the Sunday, the 18th, is our next rehearsal of the famous Purim Spiel. And that will be at 10 o'clock in the morning. A rehearsal of the Purim Spiel. That may be our last rehearsal, except the play is a week later. There will be a rehearsal before the play, but anyway. Saturday the 24th. This is the night before the play. We will be begging Chamantashen beginning at 6:30 at night. So if you would like to be part of the group who needs to bake hundreds of Chamantashen, be here at 6:30 in the evening on next Saturday. 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from today, the 24th. Sunday the 25th, that's the big day. The Purim Spiel, Purim the musical, begins at noon, followed by a light lunch. And those of you who have not been part of rehearsals and are just coming as the audience, you are going to love it. Or as we think that somebody put in the publicity, you can't miss this. You really can't. Just look at the flyers that are out now and see if you can figure out who you're looking at. Now to get down to the real holiday. Wednesday the 28th, Wednesday evening the 28th, that's Erev Purim. Our Megillah reading will start at 5:45, followed by potluck. And the alphabet is broken up, telling you what we'd like you to bring for the potluck. No desserts. Dessert, of course, will be Chamantashen, so don't bring dessert. We just need food. Now Thursday the 1st of March is Purim, and the minyan will be a little later because it's a holiday. The minyan will begin at 9 There will be a partial reading of the Megillah. The full Megillah reading will be Wednesday night. So Thursday, in the interest of keeping things moving, will be a shortened reading. And after breakfast on Thursday, the Hebrew reading class will meet. Everything that I am reading to you is in the newsletter and in the flyers that are here in the building. So take a flyer home if you want the full Purim schedule, and look in the newsletter for everything that I'm reading, so you don't have to worry about memorizing it. The last thing I'm going to talk about right now, there are many more things in March. Check the newsletter, but for now, Friday, March 9th is Shabbat Across America, and that's being celebrated as we always do with Radvi Shalom. We're trying this year to be sure that we have a good representation from Sons of Zion. We worked very hard for many years to pull together an event that we could do together. Shabbat Across America is that event, and the Hanukkah party at my house is also. Those two events, we really try to do something together. So this year, please try to make a very special effort to mark your calendar and come for March 9th. That's at Radvi Shalom. The dinner's always delicious. There's good singing. The service begins at about 5:45 with candle lighting, and it's a typical, very traditional Jewish service. Come when you can. You don't have to be there at 5:45. Come when you can, and stay for dinner. And I want to remind you that Tikkun Olam has put shopping bags out for as usual for Purim. We are working with Rachel's Tables team board to collect money for homeless children in the Holyoke school system. Every Friday, homeless children in Holyoke, with the help of Rachel's Tables team board, bring home a backpack filled with food. For the Purim holiday, the synagogues are asked to bring some of that food. On the bag itself is a list of food that they want, the food that we bring in, plus all the other synagogues that are participating in this. Will feed these kids for weeks and weeks and weeks. So there's more than 200 kids that they're feeding right now. So please don't forget your bags. Bring them in any time between now and Purim. Put them on the bench in the small social hall. And just as we did at Rosh Hashanah, they'll be collected after the holiday. Shabbat Shalom. Let's go downstairs and enjoy after Adon Olam.
Page 187. 187. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra V'yeit Nasa B'chetzo Kol Azay Melech Shemo Nivra V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol V'barado Yimot Nora V'hu Hayah Sarah